Welcome to Chat with Sally.
Welcome to episode 2, and shortly we're going to be joined by Terry. I've known him for ages, so I'm going to talk about some phenomenons and UFO and lights and things. So posted earlier some photos, some videos that Terry kindly sent over, so that if any of you get a chance to send them before the show, you can really picture what we're talking about, and if not, you can have a little gander after and see what it was all about. So, and thank you, Matt, for joining us on the last video. Yes, you joined us last week, hopefully. I was joined with James Stokes, so thank you for that, James. It was really lovely to kickstart the series with yourself, so thank you for that. And as I was saying, tonight we're going to be joined by Terry, and yeah, Terry's here, and Matt. Hello, both of you. So just see if this works now, because I know the image wasn't working last time, so we're just going to see how that gets on. Hello, Matt. Hello. Okie dokie. I think that's worked now. How do you feel? Is that sorted?
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, I
Okie
still can't
dokie.
see, but I think it's Facebook, to be honest with you.
Okay, they're being a bit of a pain.
I think so.
Don't worry. Hopefully you'll get to see it on the playback. Hopefully it'll record it properly.
Yeah, hopefully. How you
Yeah.
been, right?
Yeah, all right. Thanks. Yourself.
Yeah, it's plodding along as usual.
That's it. You've been out and about with the dogs?
Not today. We did yesterday. We just took them for a walk locally around the churchyard. So
Yeah. Did you spot anything?
not really. It's just like daylight walk, really. But yeah, just but obviously things catch you out, don't they? So
That's
we always keep an eye out.
yeah. Sometimes I see mine during the day as well. So yeah, it can happen all through the time, can't it?
Yeah. So, depends on where you want to go first. Hello, Matt. I did see you there.
Can you see the
Um,
comments?
yeah, I see your comments.
Oh, great. It's all right. Last time they was hidden, so no one could see anything. So I didn't know if I'd have to read everything out.
No, I think um, this sort of thing catches us off guard.
Yeah,
Um, just going to recent last month when I was coming home from work and I saw the strange lights in the sky. I was actually driving home from work. It'd been quite a foggy night, just a normal night really, just driving home.
yeah,
And for anyone that lives local around Farnborough, where you got the retail park, got Farnborough Gate, and you're sort of coming over the bridge from the 331.
yeah,
There's a tree line basically, it's a nature reserve. It's called the Golden Lake Fisheries, and there's quite a few lakes there. And what you see is as you come over that bridge, you see the tree line, and there's a path that runs along the 331. So as I'm coming over, I sort of see this bright light in the sky, which at first looked like Venus, if I'm honest,
yeah,
and a small light next to it. So I was being enamoured of astronomer since sort of 2012, and I thought, oh, it's sort of 3 in the morning, half 3 in the morning. It could be Venus coming up early. To be honest, I wasn't in the right frame of mind to think what it was. Our
yeah,
first assumption was it was Venus. So I thought, interesting. So I thought, what I'd do is I'd park up on the driveway and have a look on the Stellarium app and or Google Sky app and just see if it is Venus and what star it's in conjunction with.
yeah,
So sort of excited me to see that. So I pulled up on my driveway and as I'm sort of getting out of the car, gone to the front door and basically just put my bag in and get ready to actually go to sleep. I thought, oh yeah, I always double check I lock the door So I turned around to lock the car from the McKee fob,
Yeah.
and I saw those lights in the sky. There's they're just sort of dropping down.
Yeah.
So I thought, what could be satellites? Obviously, it could be Starlink because they were coming down in a straight line,
I get you.
but they were really intense bright. So I checked the car door, locked it. But before I saw those lights, obviously I checked to see if it was Venus, but I thought at first they weren't there. I thought obviously it was where I was coming over the bridge. I was at a higher elevation, and above the tree line you could see. So I thought maybe it's behind the houses. So obviously a
Yeah.
low viewing point by my front door. Obviously couldn't see it, but it was a clear sky. The
Wow.
fog was dispersing on the way home. So where I live, it from there, it cleared a bit. So all the other stars are up there, but yeah. So I turned around, double checked the car, and that's when I saw them. Locked the door, come back through my gate, and just stood by our front wall. And I was just watching them sort of just coming down slowly, really bright. And then they started doing this circling thing,
Oh,
and that,
wow.
I thought that's not normal because
Nah.
where we live under the flight path of Heathrow Airport, Flatbush, and Farnborough, and
Right.
no aircraft locally would be flying at that time in the morning. I think Heathrow ceases flights at around midnight. They probably get your cargo plane come in and sort of resume flights from about 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
With Farnborough, they stop flights around 10:30 at night, and I actually spoke to the lady at Farnborough Airport, reported these lights, just say what it could be, if they knew of any activity, and she said, well, our flight ceased to happen after sort of 10:30 due to residential, because they built up on the area for residents, and obviously there's noise complaints, so they stopped flying
Yeah.
around 10. And as for Blackfish, they don't do night flights.
All
They
right.
stopped flying about early dusk. So yeah, that was interesting. So I carried on filming, and then they sort of formed. If anyone's seen the video on your Facebook page, they sort of formed this triangle pattern.
Wow.
That's when I started getting the phone out and recording,
Yeah.
because it wasn't normal. And in the video, it shows these things blinking. They weren't blinking. I think what it is, where the intense light is, the camera's trying to pick up, because
Yeah.
it's the only thing I've got, and there's low battery as well. So I had about 30% battery on the phone. I had to record these things, as I say, just get whatever head it was, just record it. And they weren't flickering, and they weren't acting in any way, shape, or form a satellite or an aircraft would. They were just solid white lights. They're fading out and blinking out. So some were fading out, some were blinking out. But what would happen is one would appear here and another one would appear there, and they're doing this sort of like circling motion.
Like a formation coming up.
Yeah. So I proceeded to film outside, but no one else was awake. My whole street was quiet. So I'd run upstairs to the bay window to get a better view. And I watched these things till about 5 a.m. in the morning. And that's when you start seeing the aircraft come in. And it's almost as if, sort of in the far distance, you can see the aircraft navigation lights from Heathrow. It's almost not as if they spooked these things, but they just stopped. No, they didn't appear again. They just stopped.
Wow.
But it's so weird because they're just falling down, like slowly drifting down, and
Yeah.
then some were appearing on the horizon, really bright and just blinking out. There's a tree. If you go opposite my road, there's a tree, a massive tree, and just in distance, about that height of that tree on the horizon, they're just going out and just switching off. So it was very strange.
Wow. Was there any noise from it as well?
From where I was out the front, I didn't hear anything, no. But you'd think how close they were. I mean, they weren't far in distance.
Yeah.
If anything, they're probably about half a mile off, but there's no obvious noise to them. But personally, I don't know if they were drones. What I addressed to the police, Surrey and, well, mainly Surrey Constabulary, I filed a report on suspicious drone activity. I didn't want to go straight in with the, tinfoil hat wearing, I'm a UFO, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
and then just go, yeah, you've seen something, it's not right. So I approached it that way, just saying, look, this could be suspicious drone activity, especially with the
Yeah.
tensions going on in the world, just to alert them and to see what sort of response I would get. So she passed it on to the regional side, which is they actually got 4 constabularies, which are Surrey, Higher Surrey, Wokingham, and Berkshire Police, and Woking and that. So we had 4 boroughs investigating it, and Hampshire, which got a response. And the lead investigator came back to me saying that those are pretty interesting videos, but with the footage, they couldn't establish what they were.
Okay.
But even he said it was interesting footage. But I then decided to investigate that further.
Yeah.
So on the Friday, after speaking to various other researchers and then concluding that it was strange lights and they've ruled out possible satellites, um, we I sat there, my partner's gone to bed, and I'm up because I was actually off work that night on Friday because I had a really bad migraine. So I was up till 12 because of my sleep pattern. I was laying
Yeah.
on the couch, and in the bay window where the blinds are open, I see this thing flying around. I thought
Wow.
it was an aircraft at first because it had the green and red lights on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, from the night before's experience, I shot to the bay window just to have a look because it looked quite low. And it was circling around the same part of where these lights were. And there was a solid green and red light, no flashing navigation lights, and there's a white light. And it's just circling around the area where these things were seen, almost over the high street, and it was hovering. And it flew around again, hovered, and then it just stopped. And I saw this green light change to 3 red lights on the side. And it didn't
Yeah.
look, I mean, I think that was a drone, but it didn't look like a
Yeah.
normal drone to me. It was sort of car sized, if you imagine like a
Oh,
Fiat
wow.
Panda or Fiat 500.
Yeah.
At the time, again, I didn't hear any noise to it, but it was nearer than these lights were the morning before.
I get
But
you. Do you
as
swim
I
quite
watched it,
regularly in that area?
no, so normally we get police helicopters train around Farnborough area, Aldershot, and Frimley. And then we get the air ambulance that lands on Frimley Park Hospital, which you can tell the rotor blades are so loud and it circles around for ages, normally directly over our house, and lands on top of a hospital, which is just around the
Yeah.
corner from where I live. But this thing was just doing a full circle for about 25 minutes. I watched it, and I went to get my Silex camera out, and it had no charge because from our previous investigation at the tea rooms, I hadn't charged any of my equipment up. So the only thing I had was my phone again. So I
Yeah.
zoomed the phone out, and it's almost it did a full circle. I mean, it shot off to the right towards the station, like pretty fast.
Wow.
And as I say, I don't know if it was something to do the night before, somebody sent it up, or again suspicious drone activity. But it's
Yeah.
so weird. But then when I looked further into it, um, I looked on TikTok and seen reports of people in Blackwater and Camberley throughout January recording strange things in the sky. So we had a confirmed report around about, I think it was the 28th of January. A
Yeah.
lady filmed 2 massive orange lights, and it's coming out like the fog and the mist, and it's
Wow.
wet low down. And it did really intensely bright to a point where the camera actually went really white, where this thing brightened up, and when it faded and the something came out of it like a little dot, and then it sort of went off to the right quite fast, and another
Wow.
intense light appeared.
Yeah.
And, somebody posted that in the local group asking what it was, and a good friend of mine, Chris James, posted it on another Facebook page, which is what I saw because I'm part of that page. And I tried getting info out of the lady who posted it, and I've had no response. Unfortunately, on a lot of the other pages, she's got a lot of laughing emojis, so it's probably put her off about talking to anyone about it. But it did stop me from looking into it further, so I carried on looking up, Googling it, making sure nobody had posted anything recently about these strange lights thing. And
Yeah.
another post came up on the other side of Camberley. So we've got I'm in the middle, you've got Blackwater just in front of me, and then you've got Camberley just to the right, further back, near the military ranges. And that person
Okay.
recorded the same light as the lady in Blackwater, sort of at distance. And you just see the yellowness go out and another one
Yeah.
appear. So these things are seen just before sunrise. You sort of just see the light dawn sky, where the blue sky is, and they're forming. So
Yeah.
again, that was interesting. And at the same time, well, say the same time, that month, a strange fireball was seen in Newbury, Berkshire, and that was around, I believe, sort of start of January, and
Oh
it's come
wow.
down. At first, I saw that footage, and I thought it was a fireball
Yeah.
meteorite. So I watched that, but then somebody else recorded it from. It was posted on a UFO page, and
Yeah.
somebody else had posted a similar video, but they were walking and they posted it, and then somebody else said, "Well, I've got something strange on my dash cam," and they showed it, and it looks like it goes at an angle. And I'm thinking,
Okay.
looking at the curvature of the road, I'm thinking whenever car's coming to a roundabout, he's preparing to turn, so the footage will turn with the car, so
Yeah.
it'll make the object look like it's coming down at an
Coming
angle. So
down.
I'm thinking they got a meteor.
I get it, yeah.
However, Waitrose, because I think it was put in the Bracknell news paper and on their page, and they said that
Okay.
they recorded something on their security camera, and they actually put it on Instagram. And I
Yeah.
looked at the footage, and you see this thing shoot up a top left-hand corner, and it stops. Then it heads down, and it changes dock. So the thing does change direction. It's not what I was thinking before. Somebody walking down the road, and they're holding their camera,
Yeah.
and they're getting a funny angle of it where it looks like it changes. This thing
It's literally
actually
changing.
it changes in a block direction. But I can't share that footage because it's not my footage to share. But I have
Yeah.
posted it on my YouTube channel and basically crediting the people that filmed it. So it's not my footage, but that's just to show the accounts that we had in January over the area of strange things seen in the sky.
Yeah.
And we've got other reports as well. Somebody took a still photograph of this weird thing on the horizon. Somebody else has posted this, asking what they are. And January was just a bizarre month locally. But the reports don't stop there because there's also one sighting of three lights in the sky over Torquay in Devon. Um,
Yeah.
these are flashing, so they could be aircraft. But again, somebody who's regular seeing that part of the sky, they know what it was. So
Yeah.
I've lived here for about 20 years, and I know what an aircraft is. I'm an astronomer, a plane enthusiast as well. So I know what an aircraft is. I know the routines of their flight paths. With
And you know where
astronomy,
to check it as well, don't you? You
yeah,
know where to look it all up.
yeah. So I'm no expert in astronomy, but I couldn't rule out if they were satellites. But to me, they weren't. They're completely different. I've even had somebody tell me it was the aurora borealis, and when you look at them things, it's a white
Yeah.
body of sky flashing around. It's not the aurora borealis. And other people are telling me they're satellites. Well, I've never seen satellites act like that.
No, not just changing like that and shooting off and things coming out of it either. That's completely different. I'm just looking for this. I've just got to turn that down behind me. I feel like I'm at eye test. It's giving me a blind in the eye. Just bear with me. I've just got to turn it down. It's too bright again. I don't know what it's doing. Is that a bit better? I'll just sit over here. So it's literally it's appearing and they're getting formation, but January seemed to be a really, really busy month for loads of sightings, didn't it?
Yeah. So that was what was happening over here, and I'm still currently looking into it. But I've so far emailed and had a response from the Ministry of Defence.
Yeah.
Um, they told me to actually get in contact with Bufora, which is the British UFO organisation. I have got in contact with them, but I'm not paying to submit a report. They ask for a donation, and then they give you a list. I think the minimum amount's about £10. And me,
Okay.
I'm submitting my footage to them to look at.
Yeah.
I would pay for them, but I don't. You know, it's my footage. It's my.
That's it. You don't want to lose
Don't see why I
rights
should
to
have
it,
to
do
pay.
you?
Yeah, for them to pay to turn around and say no, it's not what you think it's. It's not greatest of footage, but then
It's
what is greatest of footage? So,
yeah,
but
it's
it's not
good that
just
you've
that.
caught it.
Yeah, so it's going back to September of 2024. I was actually weekend of no, it wasn't a weekend. It was a weekday. Sorry, I was in the garden with my dogs. A nice sunny day, no clouds in the sky, and it was about 4 o'clock in the
Okay.
afternoon. I just let the dogs out for a week before I went to work. and I see this bright light on the horizon, roughly in the same patch of sky where these lights are seen,
Yeah.
and it's coming over. And I'm thinking that's an airplane because that part of the sky is where aircraft line up to land at Farnborough, and they normally come down, and the landing gear comes down around there. So I'm thinking landing lights. So I've ignored it at first,
Yeah.
and I've opened the gate, let the dogs out. The thing's gone past the neighbour's house, which is right next door to mine, and he sort of like it sort of came past their house and it split in two. So one light red shot up and disappeared straight away, but this main one stayed there, and that caught my attention. And I went, what's that? So I've literally got my camera out on my phone and I started recording it and zooming in. And at first I couldn't focus on it, so I had to bring it out a bit. And the dogs are barking because they want to play ball. And I'm filming this thing, and all of a sudden it starts flashing and doing this weird dance in the sky. And I've recorded that, and I've had to crop the footage and look into it. But this thing literally is disappearing, and I've actually got an app which tracks objects, and you stabilize the videos, and I'll put a tracker on it,
Oh,
and
great.
basically the tracker loses. There's a little square box, so you can have if you're filming an aeroplane in the far distance.
Yeah.
So it doesn't lose focus, you put this tracker app on it and it just keeps it in focus and it stabilizes the video.
That's
So I thought,
brilliant.
if this is a balloon or something, it would have it tracked. And this
Yeah,
thing
I'll
was
follow
coming
it.
out, and all of a sudden the little box was going mental. It was just trying to track this thing, and then this thing would appear and the
Wow.
box would be over here and it's not tracking it.
Oh,
So
crazy. Matt's just said he's seen a few lights appearing over Torquay as well. Some of them are rockets, but I think some are spotted a lot by water, aren't they, though, if I'm right? They just seem to
yeah,
hover over it.
yeah. So they seem to be coming out or going into the water.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm not sure on what people's take on it is, but I think we basically explored Mars more than what we've explored the oceans on this planet. So there's deep
Yeah.
parts of the ocean. So it could be sort of phenomena underneath the water. So I couldn't really say, but yeah, more spotted over the water than anywhere else, pretty much.
It could be bases because I've heard of like naval ships comment that they've been told to stay in and not get onto the top deck, and they've witnessed things on there. One couldn't get inside quick enough or something, and they witnessed things coming out of the water. So there's something there. I don't know what it is, whether it's military craft or UFO, but I know there's been sightings coming out of the water.
Yeah, I mean, with that, I'm not sure. I mean, we sort of look at the Tic Tac incident in America, and I sort of think that might be our own technology, like covert, sort of like, I don't know really, like an aircraft, which if you're going to test something, why not test it against the world's greatest military? And a lot of researchers and authors have said this, and I always thought this, that if you've got something which is really high tech, put it up against a high tech military, if that makes sense, and see
Yeah,
what we've got there, because I have to see how they react. Because
yeah,
that's a possibility that what it could be. But again, I'm not 100% sure. But I do think sometimes these things, as I say, aren't normal. They're not human made.
yeah. There's been a lot of sightings of rods as well, hasn't there? In
Yeah,
some countries, that big mountain where there was a video of rods just shooting backwards and forth, wasn't they?
yeah. You've got loads in Japan as well, footage in Japan. But if you go back through sort of history and read up with the Foo Fighters, many people have probably read about these lights seen over Germany. It wasn't just Germany though; it was sort of over the North Sea. Um, Lights are seen and chasing night fighters back over the North Sea. There's one account of a Lancaster bomber witnessing these things over the North Sea, and they put it off at the time as German night fighters. But if you read
Okay.
deeper into it, they've actually been seen over the Pacific theatre when they're battling the Japanese, the Americans. A lot of the American pilots witnessed these weird light things flying around in the Pacific Ocean and
Yeah.
flying around that part of the world. There's a lot more to it rather than just reading into these things seen over World War II by American and British pilots. They were seen all over during
Yeah.
World War II. I mean,
So
they're
it's
also,
been going back a while then, the
yeah, I
sightings
mean,
and
during
that.
World War One, the trenches, I've read accounts of lights being seen over the trenches during World
Oh,
War One, and the soldiers back then were saying it was angels protecting them um,
okay.
during each time. But these lights would just light up in the front line. They weren't
Yeah.
flares, they weren't mortars. These strange lights, and they were thinking it was angels because then the guns fell silent. All of a sudden, these things would appear, and the guns would first fall silent.
Oh,
And
wow.
they were thinking it's religious, it had been angels appearing and
Yeah.
basically stopping the German advancement. But during World War One, it was accounts of strange lights, but it was just put down to being angels.
Oh, wow. So
So,
there's been quite a few, and you can't really, if they managed to get some footage from back then as well, because there wasn't all this editing things and everything back then as well. So I like a lot of the old footage as well, because I find it quite interesting what it shows you in them.
well, you say you've got the Phoenix lights, you've got the what's the I can't remember the footage. The guy used to have a camera and he took the photos of the craft. That was in the States as well. Um,
Oh, that one that was pretty long, it was like a cigar, is that one?
Yeah, I mean, you got the strange. What I found the most interesting one was the was it 2008, the sighting of the weird craft over China, which was a Chinese airport, and the Chinese
Okay.
shut that down as being an American spy plane, and that was it, done and dusted. But what you got is at the time, and I mean, the Chinese media isn't like the Western media. They don't just sort of like publish these things. They tend to keep it under wraps. But what did
Yeah.
get out from the local villages was this weird light in the sky shining the beam down on this airport. And a lot of people reported these lights on around the airport and seen this strange craft up close. I mean, it sort of speeding off, and you can sort of see windows on this thing with a very funny blue light underneath it. As it's someone's taking a photo of it, and it's sort of smeared the photo where it's
All right.
gone to exit, and that was over China, and a lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
There's quite a
Because they're
few sites.
probably just keeping it quiet, aren't they? If they have like found it or something, they're not going to just go here and go, let's share it with everyone. They're going to keep it quiet, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, especially, I mean, I know Japan has got a great interest in these things, and I think most countries do, and they just don't want to let it out,
Yeah.
basically.
They try and
So,
keep it all quiet because I think they're not sure how the public's going to like take it. Some of them will like it and be interested, whereas some go into panic and some just think it's all a hoax. So I think they just don't know which way to go, do they?
no, and I think with the advances of technology, um, a lot of countries don't admit what's in their airspace because then it's just admitting that they can't track these things. If it is, say, an American aircraft, and with technology, they don't want to admit they can't sort of keep up with the tech to sort of track it.
Yeah, I get
Maybe we've got
that.
things like hypersonic missiles now, and you know, Generation Five fighter jets, which can do stuff no other aircraft can do. And it's this is going back to the technology being used on technology, which is older tech, which is what you are using. I mean, look at this stealth fighter that was designed in the 70s, and it wasn't revealed till the early sort of or late 2000s.
Yeah,
The stealth fighter. And that thing was flying around in the sky in the 80s, you know, over the deserts and that big triangular thing. When you got the stealth bomber, and the funny story is the stealth bomber. I went to the Farnborough Air Show probably around 1997. Around that sort of time, I can't the exact date, but I used to ride my bike to the fence line and watch the planes flying around. And they had a bit of a break in the aircraft display on one of the trade days, and I was on my bike waiting for the next plane to go up.
yeah.
And I see an F-16 being trailed down the taxiway. And it's lined up on the runway ready to take off. I was sort of excited as a young lad. I was like, that's going to be loud as it takes off. The
Yeah.
whole area went quiet. And this thing appeared out of the sky, and I thought, bloody hell, it's a flying saucer. It wasn't. It was a B-2 Spirit. It was a stealth bomber.
Okay.
What it done. it's flown from Fairford, and I think it was based there or something. And
Yeah.
it just did a flyby, but when it appeared out of the cloud, it did look so strange. It's the first time I've seen one in person.
Wow.
I thought, yeah, I thought that was strange.
I bet that was a cool sight though.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was. It was brilliant. It had no noise to it. It's just sort of silently went over, and it sort of had that low jet noise. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a stealth bomber, so it probably wouldn't make any noise.
And it makes me wonder as well, you know, when you see these lights at night in the sky, I see a lot of them by, I think it's the plough, is where I tend to see just to the right of it. They just sort of flicker there for ages, but have you noticed they do go around and then just come back and just stay there for ages, and then that's it. Then they're just gone. I mean, what do you think? What's your take on it? Do you think that's more satellites, or would you say it's something like observing? What would you think that is?
I think what we got to look at is the Earth itself. If you were to, there's apps you can get that show you all the orbiting satellites that are around our planet, and there's a lot of space junk up there. And going back to
Okay.
the start of the space race, since the 50s, we've got junk up there, and like the space stations on constant alert of these things bashing into it, and basically always aware of stuff like that, you know. And it's like there's even like space gloves floating around up there.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it could be maybe a solar panel which is flying around in the sky, and it's just reflecting off the sun or some sort of old space tech. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
my experience with these things is that they're not so much high up in the sky; it's more lower down on the horizon. Like these lights I saw were on the horizon; they
Yeah.
were just coming down from a high point of the sky. And I could spend many nights out there recently during the was it the Perseid meteor shower in October last year, and I was out there with the IR camera and the psionics just recording and patiently watching these fireballs fly through the sky. And I saw hundreds of them, and some parts I didn't catch on film because the camera was pointing the wrong way.
Oh,
Um, but I think a lot of the time is it's literally we're seeing stuff high up there, which is this space stuff, but it's more or less lower down is when you see. I've probably seen more strange things on the horizon and disappear when I'm not expecting it, rather than looking up all night long. And I work nights as well, and sometimes I'm just sat there, I'm just gazing at the stars. I don't see any
yeah.
anomalies. I think it's more or less in our own sort of like environment, if that makes sense. These things
I get
disappear.
you.
They're interdimensional or what, I don't know.
Yeah. Is I know I've told you I saw a couple on your show, 'cause obviously you've got a show where you talk about these as well, and you've had me help co-host on there, and we've both seen quite a few crafts now over the time. Do you think it's like, because you've been doing that a lot longer than me, do you think it's got more visible and noticeable over the last like year or two?
I don't think it has. I just think people are sort of woken up more, especially with the technology we got, and the programs we get out. Like you got Skinwalker Ranch, and you got other shows like National Geographic are showing things like ancient aliens. I think people are just more interested in the subject. It's like with the whole ghost thing. We had a period of shows like Ghost Haunted, other shows as well, just basically playing out. And the idea of these TVs, it's like Skinwalker Ranch. Sometimes, as I say, I think they film it, and when they catch something, it could be weeks of filming something and you get nothing, and then all of a sudden you get that one thing and it's aired on the show.
Yeah,
And then people automatically think, oh my God, you know, it's a really paranormal hotspot. But in reality, you could be waiting weeks or months to catch something.
yeah.
And it's like when you go ghost hunting, um, you could pick up the place, or you get shows that sort of go out like ghost hunters and they most haunted, and although I would make it up to try and get viewings or views, but this is what gets people interested. So
Yeah.
we did a ghost hunt down here in Frimley in the tea rooms,
Ah,
and
yes.
lots of activity reported during the daytime. And speaking to the lady, the owner, she's actually shown me footage because she's got cameras in there at night time. One was a weird black mist, and it definitely looks like an old lady with like a hood over her head.
Oh, wow.
And you see plasma flying around as well. She said there's reports of a young boy seen running through the main hallway bit. Mediums have picked up the vortexes in the hallway. So we thought we'd check it out. So we paid to hire out these tea rooms, and we went down there. There was four of us, myself, Alan, and my brother and two of his friends that were interested. It was a hot summer's day. It's one of the hot summers we had. And the game was about 2024.
Yeah.
It was like 30 degrees, and it was an old building, so some parts of it were really hot and stuffy. So we started the evening early, and I heard sort of knocks and stuff, but I'll put that down to the old tube lights cooling down.
Yeah.
But what I did hear, which I can't explain, was footsteps of an old floorboards going like that. So immediately I checked that out. No one was upstairs. They were all still out the front setting the equipment up.
Oh,
That is
wow.
that is the only activity we got all night. It was just that,
Yeah.
and that was every part of the evening. That was around 7 p.m. on a Saturday.
Wow.
And there's buildings next to it, but we're not attached. And there's a pub obviously 2 doors down, and
Yeah.
you can hear the laughing and the people in the pub. So as the evening progressed, we just sat there in silence. We had the cameras going, nothing. We had nothing all night. So we then decided to do another 4 investigations there with Alan and myself. Just 2 of us doing an investigation there, along with my brother again. We didn't pick anything up significantly, but
Yeah.
we're not sure whether they didn't get to know us or the people that work there all the time. It's mostly younger people were picking up on it, so we got young waitresses
Yeah.
maybe tuned in more. But one girl literally told me that, she worked there, she's seen a little boy and it scared the hell out of her, and he just ran through and he looked soaking wet, and a medium picked up there's a young boy drowned in a pond out the back many,
Okay.
many years ago. But we've never picked up anything significant there. However, me and Stephen did do a vigil upstairs with Alan downstairs with his IR cameras, and we were told that one of the rooms up there is quite dark. So we sat in this room, and you could literally feel it's quite cold. And Stephen is like a sensitive, and he picked up that maybe your Ouija board was done in this room, and something came out of your Ouija board and hid in the cupboard. That's its own now. It stayed in the cupboard.
I get you.
So he sort of aside, it's not ever walked this plane, it's just come out of the Ouija board and shot into a cupboard, and the other spirits aren't happy that the Ouija board has happened up there. That
Yeah.
group up there. So now the owner said when other ghost parties go in there that no one does the Ouija board upstairs.
Yeah,
So
just so that it doesn't keep inviting new things into the mix.
well, this is it. So we sat there in this cupboard and it all went cold, and I pulled out my thermal camera, and Stephen said that his nose had gone cold, so I pointed it at his nose, and you can see his nose is ice cold and the rest of his face is red. I think that's one of the images you shared. But when I panned
Yeah.
around on the thing, you can almost see the back of the chair is red hot. There's a handprint there, and then just to rule it out, I said to Stephen, put your hand on that chair next to the thermal feedback we got.
Yeah.
He did that, and his handprint faded away after about a minute,
Oh,
but the
wow.
red handprint still stayed there.
Okay,
So,
so is that what that image is with the red light? Is it like the top of the head, is it then?
so we think that's probably a handprint from something which is on the back of the chair.
The chair.
Yeah,
Okay.
but there's definitely
Wow.
something there because I felt a cold spot around my neck, and it was quite a warm evening, so it's a strange atmosphere. And as we went upstairs, we thought we'd check out. It's got an extension upstairs. So we walked up the stairs and the cat balls went off, but that's possibly when we were walking up the stairs.
Yeah.
It set the cat ball off. But when we were upstairs, Alan was watching the camera still, and the cameras moved towards the cupboard, and no one else was in that room.
Oh, wow.
So you sort of see this little light thing flickering, and then at first you think it's dust or an insect, but the actual camera, it only picks up, it's designed, it's got a technology on there that picks up like figures.
Yeah.
After that little thing disappears, the camera just does that, pans towards the cupboard as though it's picked
Wow.
something up. So again, interesting, but you don't see anything on the camera.
Yeah.
But again,
Some
we've done that place 4 times, and that's probably the only evidence we've got.
Sometimes it is a case of you've got to keep going a good few times just to either let them relax with you or you to get used to, yeah, that usually knocks, this doesn't, so that's new. It's things like that, isn't it? Just to familiarize yourself with it sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've been doing this. Well, I've been into subjects since I was young. I mean, we were at the age of 12 when I was at school. The X Files and the Outer Limits came out, and I got into that subject from then. I was reading books in the school library, and back then I wasn't probably know as much as I know now. From the age of 15, that's when I started really getting into it. Basically, we had reports around our old house. My little brother used to see a spooky hand going up and down the hallway,
Wow.
and we were only young at the time. But later on, it's found out that my family, my aunt and uncles and all that used to come over back in the 70s, a couple of doors down, and they used to do seances and play with Ouija boards. My uncle's quite into the occult and stuff. They,
Okay.
they used to play around a lot of that, and my mum never liked it. She's it was entertainment value really, but my mum didn't like it because
Yeah.
my old brother at the time was quite young, and he used to be talking to things in his cot, so like talking to people. So it
So
was a bit
she wasn't too keen on that bit
no,
then.
no. But then that does that relay back because they only moved 3 doors down from the previous house. So did the stuff follow us and then move on to my younger brother, and
Yeah.
it's always strange hands. And we used to just play it off as being, he's only little, but we only found out this stuff. My mum came out of it later on in life, when I was a grown.
Okay.
Used to be like, oh, your dad and that used to prat around with that sort of stuff, and they're your age now. I mean, I'm 45 now, so I suppose back in the 70s it was something to do, wasn't it? You didn't have nightclubs or that. You go to a pub or you prat around with your Ouija board. I suppose that's tough, if I'm honest, but
Yeah.
um,
So did
I
that
think
spark your interest first, the sort of phenomenon
not really. I
things and
mean,
that?
I've only found it out recently. I've not found it out ages ago. I mean, I think the spark the interest was shows like the X Files and the Outer Limits, and I think I've just naturally come into it. And my
Yeah.
brother as well, my older brother, he's quite into it and stuff, and he picks up on things a lot. Whether he's sensitive or not, I don't know, but as I say, with ghosts and stuff, he definitely picks up on them.
And you've posted some pictures that you shared over of, I think is it Waverley Abbey, if I'm saying it right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so you've had some good sightings and things there on your cameras and
yeah.
things, haven't
Again,
you?
that was going back to the early days, around 2010. Me and my friend Dave Foster. We used to visit Waverley Abbey and Berry Pomeroy Castle to see what we can capture. So we did a few stints around these places. And with the Abbey, again, we didn't really get much there. We used to go there sort of dusk till midnight, and didn't really capture anything. But we left the camera in the main room filming for ages whilst we were walking around and seeing the ruins, and we just thought we'd leave it running until the tape runs out. When the Sunday we were playing back I think it was about 6 or 7 hours worth of footage, and we were with another friend of ours, and she pointed out that thought she saw a figure, so we slowed down the image on the video on the old VHS, and you can clearly see what looks like a monk going from one room to the other.
Oh
Now, a lot of
wow.
people said that could be car headlights, but there's no cars up there because it's just one big woodland going around, and you've got
Yeah.
a stately home behind it. And
So
at the time, we were stood by the main gate, and nothing was driving around that would cause that reflection. But then, what a lot of people don't hear is the noise of a door shutting. There's no door there; it's just a wall and a fireplace.
yeah.
But we think that's been added recently because there's a framework for a window or a door, and that would lead to the main quarters of the like the eating area of the
I
abbey
get
where they
you.
sit down and eat.
Okay,
So
so Do you think the
But
noise of like doors could be like playback noise to what would have been there years ago?
could be. I mean, only the camera picked it up, so you can clearly hear. But before that, you can hear like a murmur. It's like a almost
Oh,
like a
okay.
growl, like a "Rrrr," like that. And when the
Oh,
door shuts, and you see this thing walk through it. Well,
oh,
I've enhanced
crikey.
it, used AI and stuff to enhance it. And we're talking footage I took ages ago, and only screenshots off YouTube.
Yeah,
And this thing, try to get an AI to enhance it and look into it. And it says
yeah.
what he picked up is possibly a figure or a ghost. That's what AI has said. But back then we didn't have that technology to look at it.
That's it does help with things like that because it picks up things that you just can't clarify to yourself. It uses a lot of the intelligent things to rule stuff out. So if that can find anything to rule it out, that's pretty cool as well, isn't it?
Yeah. But again, I've done my own visits down there on my own. I've popped down there at night and I've just sat there in the corner and I've had little stones being thrown at my boot and a light thud in the brickwork behind me.
Yeah,
That sort of, I don't know, with myself, I don't get scared easily. I'll do it for an adrenaline buzz, if that makes sense. A lot of the time I
yeah,
go to places and not get anything. That's more than a buzz. When something does happen, I'll crap my pants because I literally am one. Um,
yeah.
when these stones started being thrown, I just casually got up and went, "That's it. That's enough." I was spent about 2 hours there. That's enough for me, and I walked back towards the car.
Yeah, I
So,
get
but
you.
then it's you go into these places and you're there for a reason to catch something, and if something's there and it's like, right, you're here, I want to show you a response. And I
That's
heard a
it.
report, something like that. You're there. It's almost like they know you're there for it to happen. I mean, I guess they think it's funny, and they're like, "Oh, look, we made him crap himself." He's
Oh.
run back to his car. That makes sense, but it's
And then they'll
yeah,
remember it and probably do something similar to it again next time.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. A lot of people are born into it and they don't realise it. So I've got some good friends that have had this stuff happen. They're not even interested in it. I was
Yeah.
chatting to a guy at work. He used to work in a pub, and he's got no, don't believe in ghosts, don't no interest in it whatsoever. And he's taking the piss at me one day, and I was like, right, how do you know what you can't see? Like, I could say, God, you believe in a God, you've never seen it. You believe in this, you've never seen it.
Yeah.
And I've got belief in these things. And a lot of people just don't believe. And he goes, well, come to think of it, I did see a ghost once. So I was like, oh, right, so you've seen something. It's there. I was walking out the bar one night, and this thing walked across, and I saw it in my own eyes. And he's still flat white
Crikey.
eyes, belief in it. He goes, well, I don't believe in it. He goes, put my eyes playing up.
I think that's the thing. They don't know, a lot of people don't know what to think, but a lot of people have probably seen something, but they just don't like to either talk about because they think people will laugh. And it's nice if you can get a good group of people or a channel like yourselves where people can get onto and talk about it because they actually have someone to share that with who's into the same things. And it's nice to be able to share what you've seen and get it off your chest a lot of the times.
Yeah, I mean, where I used to live with, my mum moved to Spain and Cyprus, and she gave up the house, and me and my brothers had moved in to look after it. My older brother had met his wife, and they moved down to, I think it was Dorset way or somewhere, and it was my turn to sort of look after a house, and I had a tenant there as well. And Stephen used to tell me stories of weird things that go on, but he sort of believed it was stuff he was bringing back with him after investigations because he's part of a group called Paranormal Tours. And
Okay.
he said one day he walked into a lounge and the hallway's there, and through his corner of his eye he could see a figure there, and he looked and it weren't there, and it was there again when he turned. He goes, "In this thing."
Oh,
He went to
well,
ancient Ram Inn, and
yeah.
he said he's sitting down one day and this thing appeared. He was like cousin Nick, just stood there, and he's actually got his own website now. He doesn't do it so much now. It comes along with us now, or small investigation. But he's written up his own memoirs, which you can read, ghosthaunted.com, and it's memoirs of a paranormal explorer. And those accounts are real. because I hear him. I'll be up with him and go to Costco, and we sort of chat about it, and he'd tell me stories, and his experiences go back a lot further. He's seen a lot more of this stuff than I have. But I haven't had my fair share of these things. But I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time in my mum's old house at Kenilworth Road in Farnborough and Cove. And I just come downstairs to use the toilet. We had an upstairs toilet, but it wasn't flushing at the time. So I've come down the stairs, and it's early hours of the morning. And as I've come down the banister, the hallway used to follow the banister into the extension. And the kitchen used to be on the extension, and the toilet used to be on the back of that. So as I turned around the banister, I've seen this full-blown figure of what looked like an elderly man in a dressing gown making toast. And I blinked, and it wasn't there. I've looked at it, as I come around the banister corner, it's just there, like blink for an eye, this silhouette of this thing. And it's almost weird because it's like black and white. It's dark, but it's like it's sort of
You could
black,
see
black
it,
and white.
yeah.
You just put a photo in black and white, it's like the white outline of this thing. I blinked and it's gone. And I didn't think anything of it at the time. And
Yeah.
I was just like, whoa, what was that? I was just walking around the corner. I was half asleep. It could have been my mind playing tricks. But when I described this figure to the neighbour who'd lived there for years and knew the elderly boy had passed away in the house, she said, oh, that's Percy, like that. I said, Percy? She said, yeah, the old boy that used to live here. Oh, right. I can't remember her name. She was a lovely old lady. But she had she always said that she's not a medium but a sensitive. So she did have disease, bless her. And she's be good friends with my mum. But she used to always wave at the house, and we always thought,
say hello to him.
because me and my housemate, she used to pick apples from the apple tree in the garden.
Okay.
My housemate at the time, who was a good friend of mine, he used to ask her not to pick apples. He goes, "Oh, can you knock and ask first?" It's a bit like, so I don't think the old lady picking apples, leave her alone. But she used to always say to me, I saw Percy, see him. And she kept telling me he's waiting for his wife. So she passed away in hospital, I believe, and he passed away in the house or something.
So he thinks she's coming to the house, so he's
Yeah.
waiting. Oh.
So this is what this lady says. He's waiting for his wife, basically, which is why he's still there. But my ex-girlfriend, we went to the shop once, me and Andy, to get some beers. We left her at home watching the TV, and she rang me up when I was in the shop, and she's freaking out. "Oh, take me home. I want to go home." I was like, "Why? What's up?" We had laminated flooring in the hallway. She heard shuffling of slippers.
Oh,
She walked out.
wow.
She didn't know the place was haunted. She just said, "I heard somebody walking." I got up to see it was someone else. I thought you'd come home, but the front door's opposite the lounge. So she
Yeah.
would have seen us and heard us, but she said no, and she refused to stay there again. So,
Wow. But
uh,
that in itself is confirmation. If someone who doesn't know that you've experienced stuff has heard something and checked it, sort of like confirms what you're hearing and that, doesn't it?
yeah, I mean, I was sat there once I think I was watching EastEnders in the daytime, on a day off work, and I was watching TV, and where the fireplace was, there was a big flash of light. And it was during the daytime, and
Yeah.
the spider plant behind me was moving. It was literally like wobbling like that, and I could hear the pot making. I looked round, creeped me out a bit. I had to get up and turn the TV off. It scared me a little bit. I was like, "What's that?" But it's a weird flash. It's like when you get a mirror and you flash it, reflects it off the sun.
Yeah.
Made me squint my eyes because it's that bright. But we had a big
Oh,
mirror above the
crikey.
fireplace, and they say mirrors are like portals. So if it's
Yeah.
coming and going, I don't know.
Yeah, they say you're supposed to cover them if you're moving, aren't you? Supposed to
Yeah, so
cover it with a
we
like
we got a large
blankets.
mirror in the bedroom, and we've just got a little. So when we moved into this flat, we had odd things going on, and it wasn't our mind playing tricks. It was during COVID we moved in, and it was just me and my wife,
Yeah.
and we had to move stuff around and all on our own pretty much. And when I was sleeping during the day, I was really weird noise. This place was lived in for a little while because of COVID, and the old lady passed away a couple of years ago, and the brothers were doing it up to sell it.
Yeah.
But I used to hear really odd noises and voices when I was sleeping during the day, coming home from work. We'd actually done the place up as well, so we were doing little bits and bobs. It looked like we're disturbing something, I don't know, but yeah, my partner's had strange things happen when she's been in the dogs park at nothing. They look at something in the room. But we've actually got a big mirror in the bedroom, and we've put a little religious trinket on top of it, and
Yeah.
one of them crosses you get as well next to it, just to stop anything coming through. And we've got the white sage and done all that pretty much to our house. But every now and again, something odd will happen here. Can't be explained. Recently, the dream catcher, she sort of raised up like that and lowered down slowly.
Oh, wow.
That
It
was
could
weird.
be like anniversaries, couldn't it? If it goes and then comes back, you'll have to make a note on like a calendar in case it's like, it could be a birthday or a death that was special to them, and a death, obviously, something happened to them at that time. But it might be worth making a note of the dates and things. And Matt's asked if what was your experience at Drummer or Dummer near Basingstoke? Do you know what that is?
Can't remember. I'll have to enlighten me a bit.
You'll have to mention it, Max, because you've had a few now. So sorry, you're trying to pinpoint which one now, aren't you?
Yeah, I can't remember, to be honest. Must be some time ago because I haven't worked there in a while.
Yeah. Oh, do you still get the knocks in the new place?
No, so the knocks are weird because I spoke to you about that, and it was like you said about mocking the Trinity.
Yeah,
But
if it's three knocks, it's
yeah, so I was sleeping one day and it was literally, I was fast asleep and there's three knocks, uh, but it was on the door and we only got very thin doors, but
yeah,
it sounded like the knock was going up the door. So you had a very deep, very mid-range knock, and then you had a really light one. So it's like somebody knocking up the door, which woke me up because my wife's auntie's got a key to the place. I didn't know she was in and knocking on the bedroom door
yeah,
before we had a dog. So it's just me and my wife that lived here, and we recently got dogs a few years back. So we didn't have any pets in the house, and there's a weird knock. And I used to always think the TV was because we live in an upper flat, and I used to think the TV was on downstairs. And I used to say to her auntie that lives downstairs, "Are you home? Have you got TV on?" No, and it
yeah,
was just talking like you couldn't make out what it was saying. It was just like a murmur, like a conversation taking place, but I could never
okay, yeah,
really hear what was going on, which is why I was like, TV must be on downstairs.
yeah,
But her auntie travels around the world and she's away at the time, and a few times she's been out shopping or something, and I hear it. And the last time I heard the knock, it's about 2 or 3 years ago now. Is actually at night, and we were in bed, me and my wife, and it was early hours of the morning. I heard the same knock, bang, 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 like that. I actually woke up and said, "Come in," because I was half asleep. And yeah, it's
Never
really weird.
invite it in, Terry. Don't do
No, but I was half
that.
asleep. But the weird thing is, that the door was shut, but it was only partially shut. But the knock
Yeah,
was woken up with yawning. I was just like, come in like that. I don't know why I said.
yeah.
But I also find myself sometimes I'm going to work and if I'm on my own in the house, I say goodbye, and when I come in, I say good morning. I don't know why I do that, but that's being polite, really. Or I see something strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, example, I don't know if it's me, but the other day Friday, I was coming home from work, and it's about 5 a.m. in the morning. And as I walk in the car on the opposite side of the road, I thought I saw somebody walking down the high, like the top of our road.
Oh wow.
But then I turned around to see who it was, because
Yeah.
I know everyone down this road. I'm quite friendly with them all. And I was like, "Yeah, all right, good morning or good afternoon." And nothing was there. It's all gone behind the car. It's only that well, proves your vision is if you're putting the key in through the door and you turn it like that and you sort of glance and you sort of see something, and look round and it must have gone behind the car, but didn't come out the other side. It's definitely like a set of legs or something. And I was like, I don't know what that is.
Crazy.
But I
And
normally say hi, thank you,
it's
or whatever.
nice though. It shows like a bit of respect to them. So, if you say hello to it and like it might increase the chance of it being pleasant with you, I suppose, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, what I will say is that anyone who's got these spirit boxes or ghost boxes or anything like that, or any idea of using them, just be careful because I used to use them, and you get a lot of jibber jabber come through on the box. But using it proper ways like we do, I've used it on my own. I've got a lot of benevolent, nasty things come through.
Mm.
Uh, Not nice stuff, put it that way. Again, it's like you're tuning into a radio station. Sometimes you tune into the wrong frequency, or you tune in something and something's not nice. You know,
Yeah.
I've had things call me nasty names, and they're not they're not spirit box sort of like voices. They're the actual human voices, if that makes sense. So we've got human voice
Okay.
coming over the app. So you're having that, and the Android phone would say the word.
Yeah.
It'll say something like castle, or it'll say something like doorway, or something like that. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you get this voice, this nasty voice come over.
Oh
It's saying
wow.
F you or something like that. Not nice. And straight away
Yeah.
you've tuned it in. But these tools we use, they're designed, obviously, they're not designed to tune in to things, but where they're asking for things to come forward, you're opening the gate to something it's not very nice coming through. And I've had that many times. And
Yeah.
a no to Ouija boards. People say, don't believe in that stuff. Trust me, don't do it. It's not good.
No. I think when you can remember the like the recorders like Vox and things, it could be the fact that you are literally asking questions like, "Are you there?" So it's sort of like opening your door, isn't it? And sort of going, "Who's there?" And well, anyone can say hello back, can't they?
But it's also a lot of people looking for their dead aunt or their mum or relative or something like that. And it's not me just being abrupt. It's you're letting your defences down. So you're letting down a side of you which is emotional. And
Mm,
sometimes these dark energies take the mick and they just know to take advantage and use some energy of
yeah,
that. It's like they play on our emotions and energy.
yeah.
So when you're doing these things, you're inviting in something, you're just opening the gate and just letting anyone in, and anyone just come in and do that, and it's not good. It's not a good idea. Same with spirit boxes. I try not to use them so
Yeah.
much, just because of that is another tool for something to come through.
Sometimes it's good just to go around and experience it. I think the EMFs are pretty good because you can find out whether it's just pipes or whether there's energy somewhere that really shouldn't be there. Them are pretty interesting.
There's spikes in EMFs, temperature anomalies as well, where you get a spike, a sudden shoot up in temperature. EMF meter, always do the baseline test. So when you're at a location, do a baseline test of the whole site. So you'll get something like 40 megajoules or something, and you'll
Yeah,
know that's baseline. I mean, if it stays at that, it could go up and down. If you're in, like, say, the tea rooms where you're doing a baseline test where you've had a busy period throughout a Saturday afternoon, say, you've gone
yeah,
in the evening and all the fridges are coming on and the things are cooling down, and after a busy day, do another baseline test at least 4 times before your investigation, just to get a fair test on what's what. And then you go
that's
into the room, you could pick up the energy spikes. Then we've had that a few times where you've done a few fair tests, and then all of a sudden you can rule out then that it's not normal. You get a spike.
I think it up on one of our feeds a good couple of years back. I think a voice come through on one of those, didn't it? I
Yeah,
think
it
we
was.
had to say it, didn't we? I know it come
Uh,
through the ones.
yeah, I mean, a few streams I do watch. A recent one. It sounded like a voice had come through. I'm still yet to look into that. I just haven't had time. But it was a clear, distinctive voice on 2 occasions on that podcast I heard. The,
Yeah,
the guy does a lot of the investigations where he is. But yeah, that was obviously, it could be background noise, but I'm yet to enhance it on the uh, software I've got. But
yeah.
yeah,
You'll have to let us know if you manage to enhance it. Let me know what you find from it.
yeah. I mean, I'll keep in touch, let him know, the guy, because it wasn't just myself. I think other people heard it as well. So,
Okay.
but it is all about, just when you're looking into these things, you're always going to it with a skeptic mind. I mean, I'm a full blown believer in what I've seen,
Yeah.
in both UFOs and ghosts and things like that. And I'm sure the accounts I've read and looked into are pretty much the same. I believe these people when they say they've seen these things.
That's
Some of them just outright weird, but then we don't know what we're looking at, do we? I mean, I've been watching the whole CERN thing. I don't know if you've seen that. Where they open up
which one?
portals in CERN. They're meddling with stuff they shouldn't be meddling with. I go back to the
Okay.
things we use, like your Ouija boards and apps and stuff
Yeah.
like that. They're meddling with things we don't know about, but with CERN, they're playing with a lot more than, say, what we're playing with, but it's
Yeah.
never a good idea with physics.
It's like Taps. If you watch that one, that's pretty good because I like that. Some nights I go, right, we've not caught anything. And it's like good because that's how it usually is. So when they actually have things happen, you're like, oh, okay, because they wouldn't put it on. So it's like it and miss that they show stuff. So I think it's good when you're doing lives and things from, like you said, when you went to the tea rooms, it's good to still show everyone because then when you do get stuff, they're like, oh, okay. And they get it more, don't they, when they watch it?
Yeah. It it's also basically I'm sort of more of an observer than I'm researcher or investigator. I mean, I'm there. If I catch something strange, I'll put it out there and see what other people think of it. It's always great to get another opinion on it.
Yeah.
Um, like with these lights, I've had people tell me you're borealis or they're just satellites, they're aircraft. I know for a fact they're not because I've lived here for so long. I know the patterns and I know what things I've seen,
Yeah.
in the past of all our aircraft or satellites. I mean, I used to have 2 grand's worth of telescope and I used to be big into astronomy and I've got loads of cameras and stuff that picked up planets and things like that and I know what's what and it still not look right and I've been obviously doing this for quite a while but I don't know if it's just me where I'm sort of experiencing these things I just happen to catch it out or these things are sort of saying hey look over here because if I take my mind off the subject say I've had a busy week at work or and I mean, it's just been hectic at the minute. It's so busy.
Yeah.
I've had any time to myself. I get a weekend off and pretty much sleep all day or something. So I don't have much time to look into this stuff. But
Yeah.
I think sometimes it just likes to say, oh, I'm still here.
Yeah.
But,
Just sort of a reminder.
yeah, it's just like, oh, look, I'm still here, and sort of that sort of thing. But
And I think because
okay,
you work quite late as well, you're quite lucky
yeah, to
to spot them because it's quiet, isn't it, as well?
be honest with you, I don't see anything. And I spend all night on the road and I'm working, I'm driving home and you read all these reports and accounts of people sort of something chasing my car down the road at night, or so I'm up pretty much all night long. I don't see anything like that, but every now and again, it catches you off guard. Something happens. Not
Yeah.
really,
Do you
but
see more lights in a nighttime rather than apparitions, like, or first thing in the morning? I think you tend to catch it quite early, don't you, in the morning? Is it, do you catch more apparitions or is it the lights?
in the past, it was like the old boy in the old house. Yeah, that was the early morning. And I used to work at Park Gate. I used to drive down the A3 and then cut through Puttenham and then head on to the A31 to take me down to Frimley, Canby way. And one morning I was driving through Putnam and there's this old wall and as I'm driving in my old car with the headlights on full beam 'cause it's a dark road, I swear I saw a figure go into a brick wall and that was early
Oh,
hours of the morning.
wow.
But then again, that road's renowned for being quite haunted. But then the eyes could play tricks on you because I think I put on my page and you must have read it, but I was driving down the A33 going back to my depot in Reading. I was working on the M3 way and I was cut through the back roads through Basingstoke headed to Reading down to 33.
Yeah.
And when it opens up to the dual carriageway bit, there's a bridge. And as I'm driving towards it, I swear there's a sort of monk's figure walk across the bridge. As I was coming towards it, I had my full beam on the truck. And as you know, with the truck full beams, they light up really bright.
Yeah.
Where this figure just walks like that across the bridge. It
Wow.
scared, spooked me at first. I didn't say anything. I'm my colleague with me.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. I was like, did I just see something, or was that a ghost, or figure, or somebody walking across the bridge? So I Google mapped it, and it's just like a bridleway which meets. Obviously, they built this road through the bridleway, and it's just a cross point. So I can't see anyone walking there at that time in the morning.
Yeah.
I was thinking ghosts. However, I coming back the same time, roughly about the same time, a couple of months later, and I thought, see, this bridge thing. I see the same thing again. Well, what it was, as I pulled into a lay-by just further down, there's a phone mast, one of them 4 or 5G things that sits up behind the tree line.
Okay.
As you come to this bridge, the mast appears on top. The top of the mast is on the bridge, and
Okay.
as you drive around the curvature of the road, obviously you're going that way, but that thing still stood there in the background, and the bridge is there, like
Okay.
that sort of thing.
Uh,
So I didn't see a ghost; it was a phone mast. So
But that's cool though, because when
disappointing.
you saying to people that you're spotting stuff and you're counting for what's things, so you're making sure if it's actually something casting a shadow, and then you're posting the stuff and you're like, well, nothing to explain that one yet. It's good for people who's like taking it all on board because it's like, oh, well, he hasn't discounted this one, so it's good though that you're putting the
Yeah,
discounts out there as well.
the art of it is to debunk something always before you say it's something it's not. So
Yeah,
always try and debunk it and look into it and say, I've double checked it. I've looked and I think it's this. And at least you've covered that basis.
that's it's always really good to put the both out there for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, uh, there's so many things that it's hard to sort of try and debunk some of them. I mean, one of them was uh, we got married in 2019 and we went away for our honeymoon and we decided to stay at a place in Cumbria on the border of Scotland at a place called Lerwick and it's the middle of nowhere and where we stayed was literally in the mountain and the hills and that and
Yeah,
didn't have any broadband, hardly any phone signal, but there's a pub called the Red Lion Pub and we stayed there. And on the back of that is a converted barn into 2 flats. And in November, there wasn't many tourists there. And the local community was 2 farms, one on the left side of the road and one on the right. And
yeah,
the pub catered for these 2 farms. So you'd have the farmer, he'd do his work, he'd go in there for drinks. And the landlady said, we're only open to about 8 o'clock at night. Once they've had their drinks, they go home for their dinner and we shut up shop. She goes, nobody really drives along the back road and comes in for a beer, or food. So the pub was owned by a young couple, and their only customers were these 2 farmers. So we went there, we stayed in the back room, but because we were there on a honeymoon in November, but we only spent 3 days there.
yeah.
We bought, we'd go have a few drinks in the evening, and we had a little dog Scout with us at the time, and she stayed open till about 9:30. At
Okay.
the time, I used to smoke, so I popped out for a cigarette after a few beers, and I just stood up against the wall. Now it is in the middle of nowhere. You can't hear. You just hear that. You can hear a pin drop. It's that quiet.
Yeah,
So I'm there having a cigarette, and I'm looking out the skies because you can see every star. You can see the Milky Way a lot. It's so clear the sky up there, and I see this red thing appearing. I thought it was a helicopter because I'm thinking out there they normally have skirmishes. The army prat around in the
yeah.
beside that MOD land, and it's been getting big bright red dot. It's coming like that, and it's just sort of just gone like that straight over, no noise to it. I'm like,
Wow.
what was that popping around my back? And I was like, God knows what that was. And it just disappeared, and it carried on. It just disappeared. As it went over, it had like this weird sort of like tranquil distortion around the side. So as it went over,
Okay.
because it went over, you can make out this little distortion around it.
Oh
It's
wow.
carrying a red light. And I don't know, I don't think it was a cloaked thing or what. I don't know. It's weird. It's like a distortion that's through straight over my head like that and carried on in the distance.
Yeah.
That's probably my up close sort of
Encounter sort of
encounter
one.
with saying. But you've got to remember, it's the middle of nowhere and it's about 45 minutes to the nearest shop. So,
Have you
like, as
thought of
far as I
going
know,
back with Amy and having a look again?
Not really. I mean, it's about a 7 hour drive up
Is
from
it?
North England, yeah. But so we've been to many places: Yorkshire, Northumberland, Mansfield, your way, Wales, Snowdonia. We've been to a lot of places in the UK. But that's probably the furthest point we've been, apart from
Yeah.
Northumberland. So that's just our honeymoon, and it's a very strange thing to see. It's just, I don't know what it was. It could have been a silent plane or something, but yeah, it's very odd.
And you're planning on going to the Chase at some point, aren't you? And
Yeah,
we can show you that castle ring because that's renowned for having some crafts as well. So hopefully you might see something there as well.
yeah. So
Mm.
I was saying to Matt earlier, a lot of it is, I think, when they reach woodlands, we were talking about Wendlesham Forest, and don't get me wrong, I think stuff does happen there, but I also think a lot of this is the dark forest effect, where it's this we're in like we're in a woodland that's dark for a start, and sometimes we can lose our way, and the way our mind is set in our DNA that we're born in a cave, and it's
Yeah,
that safe cave or safe house, and the mind can play tricks, especially in a woodland where it's dark and you can lose your orientation and you don't know it. You know where you're going. In your mind, there's this little worry thing in fight or flight
yeah.
mode, and that could trigger this thing where people start panicking and oh, it's woods are spooky or something.
I think that's why you'll like that castle ring because you've got the Chase where all the forest is and it's quite dark, but the castle ring gets sort of by a road and it's quite in a residential sort of part of the Chase. So like you can get to the fields like at the back of it, but it's just this plot of land with a great big circle basically, and you can just like walk around the circle and people have said they've seen stuff there. So
Yeah.
I think that's why people have commented more on the UFOs for there and the probably the spooky stuff for the Chase them with the mines and playing on them as well as stuff being there. So it could be why.
I'd love to spend the night down Cannock Chase, either on my own or with someone who's dedicated to spend the night there.
Yeah.
Um, or Wendlesham Forest. I'm quite happy to spend the night there. I've got no fear of spending time in these places. I mean, the Berry Pomeroy Castle, as Matt can tell you, been there many nights until the early hours of the morning and got absolutely nothing. And that one time we were there all night, as me and Dave, and we're in the where the coffee area is, sat there and we're filming outside. We could hear voices coming down the main path. There's actually a group of teenagers, and they've just had a few beers on them. It was about midnight-ish, and they came over. They saw us with the torch. We just stood back hiding, so we don't want to be seen.
Yeah.
And we're being quite loud, so they came over and asked us what we were doing, and we said, look, we're sort of looking for ghosts. We've heard this place is haunted. Yeah, the old lady's seen running across the rampart walk, the white lady, and the blue lady's up there. We're like, oh yeah, we've heard all the stories. They decided to hang out with us. Anyway, back then, stupidly, we decided to break in. We jumped over the side fence that goes down to the left, and yeah, a great big drop the other side. So middle of the night, pitch black. We had our torches, and it's limestone,
Oh
very
gosh.
slippery. I don't advise anyone to do it because it's stupid. But they seem to know what they were doing. They did it all the time, so we copied them. We were inside the castle grounds and walking around, and we went down to the cellar where the white lady is and lit some candles, and we called out, got absolutely nothing. As we done, this person appeared at the window and went rah like that, scared the absolute hell out of us. We all got up, ran out top of the cellar, jumped over a wall, and there's another group of ghost hunters. But these guys were more hardcore. They sort of spend a lot of time down there. I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
They spend a lot of time down there, but what they don't like is other people on their patch, so they're trying to scare us off. Anyway, I
I get
befriended
you.
the main guy, and I said, look, it's come down. We spent a couple of hours, 2 hours or so driving down there. We're here to see anything going on. And he showed us some pictures on the Rampart Walk where you got the old photo of the herd coming out of the cellar on that same bit. But what he's actually got on this camera is the like a chain link arm,
Oh
and it's
wow.
they showed us on his camera on his memory card. He's sort of showing us something like that. You go, look at what do you think that is? you can clearly see a shoulder and an arm, and like a
Yeah.
chain link armory. And I said, "Oh, we don't know what that is." And he said, "We
Oh,
put strange things down here. You know, so I don't like people on our patch because we tend to sort of scare them off if we can. You know, to
yeah.
we're investigating no one else." And I was like, "Oh, that's fair enough. We'll leave you in peace," and we buggered off.
It's
But
probably because if they're like constantly filming or something, they can't sort of discount things if other people are there.
yeah,
Probably.
but again, me and David, the first time I went there, it was just us two, and I was in my car. We're up at the top gate, and we were begging each other to go down there. And we spent all day in Devon, done a day trip there, checked the grounds out during the day, and had the Audible thing on, listened to the history and that, and walking around. We went back there that evening. None of us wanted to walk down into a woodland.
Yeah.
We stood there, and Dave's taking photos out of the sunroof from the car, and I'm just sat there, just staring ahead with my side lights on. And what I've described is where the main road is. You've got the top gate and you've got a second gate. The top gate, there's like a farmhouse there, and dogs were barking because we were parked there. I don't think anyone was home at the time. But with the side lights on, I saw this mist drift across the headlights. On that main road, this mist turned into a figure about 7 foot tall. And I didn't think
Oh,
of it for a
crikey.
second. I was just sat there in a daydream, just staring ahead. Dave's flicking around, flashing on his camera.
Yeah.
The thing disappeared like that, and it sort of just rose up. But then I saw a prominent like outline of this
Yeah.
big tall figure, and I started up the engine. I was driving. Dave's hanging out the sunroof.
Oh, crikey.
Shot off down the country road, and it wasn't until we got to the Wiltshire border up near Stonehenge I pulled into a lay-by.
Yeah.
And you go, "What did you see?" 'Cause I didn't say anything. I was white as a sheet, apparently. I swear to God, I saw a figure rise up, and it scared the hell out of me. But back then, this is when we first were into it, when we first
Yeah.
started doing this thing. So
Oh,
we were watching
crikey.
shows like Ghost Haunted and that, and like Most Haunted and TV shows and Ghost Hunters, and we're sort of watching them shows. But oh, we give it a
Yeah.
go. You know, and the first time, if I'm honest, yeah, it sort of scared me. I was like, "What was that?"
Yeah. Well, especially if it just comes up while you're driving as well, I think it sort of takes you more by surprise because you're concentrating more, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah, it sort of throws you off guard, but I'm more used to it now, shall we say. It's more or less you like if you're looking straight ahead, something's going on over here. I think our visual vision is stronger than our forward vision, so I think we're more
Yeah.
sensitive to things up to the side. When we look, it's not there. You catch certain things at the corner of your eye, and I think it's just something happens there. And you go, "What was that?" And you look over there, nothing's there. So is that our mind playing tricks, or is it just our side from the hunter-gatherer days? We're more tuned to things going on over here. It's just the inner
Yeah.
sense waking up.
It's because you do sense things, don't you? As you're walking around, you either see a shadow or you can just like sense something's there sometimes, can't you?
Yeah, yeah. I
And
think uh,
are you planning to go back to the tea rooms again as well?
I think it's well, my colleague Alan, because obviously we won the SPI UK Surrey Paranormal Investigation, or now Supernatural Paranormal Investigation, which is what Alan wants. Hoping to go more places, but I don't want to keep going back to the tea rooms because A, I don't want to upset whatever's there. It's not going to come
Yeah.
forward ever. And B, I think it's done and dusted. I think we've come to the conclusion that it's something there that unless it knows you or wants to be a part of you, it's not going to come forward.
I get yeah. So are you
I
next going
originally
to
had
try and
the
look for your lights?
sorry.
Are you going to try and spot some more lights next? Have you researched some more areas and going to try them out?
Um, I'm not sure. It's all down to work and time, having the spare time. Really, it's just
Yeah.
getting spare time to do these things. It's very hard in the job
Yeah.
I'm in because unless I've got a holiday. As I say, time is very rare at the minute, shall I say. So it's yeah, it's just having the time to do it. I mean, I love to, but what I do actually like doing is just looking into these cases of
Yeah.
um, of people. I mean, what's interesting is like lately we've been watching Supernatural, the TV series,
I love
and
that.
yeah, I've never actually watched it fully, but before we go back to that, they sort of bring up a lot of the old myths and stuff like that. Stories like banshees, for example, witches and Sam and Dean Battalion. But then
Yeah.
I saw the other day they've got crossroad demons, things
Yeah.
like that. And I've actually looked it up and Googled it and looked a lot into folklore and that.
Okay.
Is it Robert Jones or something, the old guitarist that apparently did the Deal with the Devil at Crossroads, the blues musician.
Yeah.
Netflix actually did a series called Devil at the Crossroads. It's quite good. Robert Johnson, I think his name was.
Okay.
By the age of 27, supposedly couldn't play guitar, disappeared for a year, came back, could play the guitar. And when Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones listened to it, he said he could hear two people playing guitar. So it wasn't so much Robert Johnson. He said it was almost like a second thing playing the guitar.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
that got me interested in that. So I read further into it. And in
Yeah.
history, there's only ever two cases of the so-called crossroads demon. One was a famous painter who couldn't paint for love or money, and supposedly he had done the deal to make paintings, and his paintings became really expensive and famous.
Wow.
He's a poet as well, and that came up in like the 18th century or something like that. Then you got the Robert Johnson case of his guitar. Whether it's just folklore, I suppose
Yeah.
it's still the Crossroads Demon. So things like that I'm interested in now, rather than weird lights in the sky and ghosts and stuff, because I sort of feel like that's done and dusted. A lot of people are covering that now. But
Okay. So
one
you
is
got
all
like another
the
chapter
old,
opening.
yeah, like supernatural stuff. I'm now reading a lot more into. It's like if you
Okay.
remember in the late 80s, early 90s, we used to have cases of spontaneous human combustion of people just bursting into flames.
Yes.
Don't
Yeah.
hear it nowadays.
No, it's
Um,
quiet now, isn't it? That.
no, but I just feel what time I have now is just reading into the old cases like that and just looking at the weird stuff that way because it just sparks interest again. I'm getting a bit, I say, not fed up or bored, but it's just really reading up strange lights. I don't know, it is interesting. It's
Yeah.
just like it is just lights in the sky again. It is weird, and it could be something interesting. Just like, especially with told, say, the disclosure thing's taking media by storm at the minute. The whole disclosure thing coming out, the film Steven Spielberg's made, Trump's announcement, apparently, and we sort of sat there and everyone's on it. Everyone's sort of
They're
looking
all
into it,
doing it. Yeah.
which is good. Great for them. But at the same time, I just felt like when I posted those lights in the sky, people just going, "Yeah, that's satellites. Yeah, that's this and that." They're all couch experts. They all know everything. We don't know anything. It's I'm
Yeah.
interested in things to this sort of side of things, if it makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's why shows like that's pretty good because it does show you that there's more than just the aliens out there, ghosts out there. There's so many different phenomenons about there and cryptics and everything. And I think it's really good to just open your eyes to everything. So if you can open your mind to one thing, then it's like, well, then everything else is sort of fair game to sort of
Yeah,
open your mind to, isn't it?
it's like if you told me like werewolves, say 10, 15 years ago, I saw a werewolf, I'd laugh at you. I'd say honestly, that's bollocks. Part of my
Yeah.
fun. I would honestly, but now it's just another. Really look into these things. It's interesting, Are these things multi-dimensional, interdimensional? Are they coming into this world from another realm? And when you look into what I was saying about CERN, and they're bringing apparently this latest thing I've read is that one of the insiders from CERN, she's come out and explained a lot of things that are going on, and she said they've opened up many portals. And apparently, they actually have had something come through the portal and take a scarf of somebody who was in this room and gone
Okay.
back through the portal. So that's material taken through and from portals. But what she was saying, it came from a second-hand source, but a good source. She was
Yeah.
speaking on the podcast, and she said, Raven, and she went into the maths and the whole idea of opening up portals. And she goes, it's not actually that hard at all because you do this, you do that, blah blah blah. She's talking. I
Wow.
can explain now what she said, but it's interesting. but it's proven that it's like space time and material and that it can be transferred. I read
Yeah.
somewhere um they use teleportation. They've got their heads around teleportation now. I don't know how that works. That
It's
supposedly they move something from one space time to another. I've read
yeah.
about that in the past as well. I mean, we got is it MK Ultra and cases like that where they reckon they could people can move things with their minds and something could materialise in a peer theirs, like the Philadelphia experiment with the ship. Did that happen? Was it a myth? We don't know, but those sort of things interest me.
That'd be great. And it'd be interesting to see what you think of some of the older cases, especially with, because you put a lot of research into, when you're researching something, you really go all into it, don't you? So it'd be really good to see some of the old cases looked into and see what you come up with for them.
Yeah, I say I find them cases interesting because they happen. It could all be rubbish. I mean, it could just be somebody making it up. Um, it's like the Enfield case. At the time, that his newspapers reporting it was a fake, but we had police officers go there, first-hand accounts from police officers that witnessed, and priests and that. Well, they're not going to lie. I mean, they
No,
were there. They said this stuff happened. The little girl's voice changed into an old man's voice. The table apparently shot across the room, and these two police officers left immediately. They couldn't explain it, but
wow.
yet the newspaper said it was all fake. Yeah, she put it on. I mean, I
So the
can't see that.
discounting police and reports and everything.
Yeah. Again, the thing that's seen in the sky. You got like John Hanson's written several books, Haunted Skies, and I've bought one recently, and he's got cases going back decades ago of things seen, and these are from sort of good witnesses, like policemen,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, you got other researchers have set up websites for pilots to report stuff, a dedicated site where they can tell their own experience or something they're not used to in the sky. So
Yeah.
people are seeing stuff, but what they're seeing, I don't know.
It
I
is
saw,
really good though.
I don't know. All I know is there's a bunch of lights in the sky making a weird pattern. But then I
Yeah.
researched locally and looked into it, and then you had cases, like I said, in other parts of around January at different dates and times of strange lights. And these people live in the area; they know what's not right. If they see it,
Yeah.
they why wouldn't have filmed it otherwise? Let's be honest. I mean,
That's it.
we live in the flight path of Heathrow, Gatwick, Farnborough, Lasham, Blackbush, London Airport. All the aircraft fly over here.
Yeah.
There were so many airplanes flying over, and it's just you get used to it. And when you see something you're not used to, you like get a camera out and film it. Don't know
That's
what it looks
it.
like, you film it.
But it's
So
good though,
I'm not
because
into it.
it's good to catch it quick though, isn't it? Because sometimes they appear so fast. By the time you get your cameras and everything, it's gone, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I say it's just matter of just trying to capture. That's what I mean. I'm an observer, so I'm not constantly looking for these things. But when it
Yeah.
happens, I'll try and have my camera on me at all times in case something happens.
So, and it'd be interesting to hear some of these other things, especially like you've mentioned the supernatural side of things, because I'm a big fan of that. So, yeah. So it'd be
Yeah,
interesting to see some of that.
that's the field I'm going to now. That's another thing I was going to say. We went to the museum, the exhibition of the Secrets of Dark Arts exhibition in London.
Oh,
We found it
yes.
on Facebook, funny enough, and it was in the vaults in London. So we did after Valentine's Day Sunday. I said to Amy, I was like, that's your Valentine's Day treat. We're going to see these dark vaults and spooky stuff. We well into it. Yeah, we go for that. So we had a date day as well. Don't get me wrong. So we went down to London, had a good time. We went into these
Yeah.
vaults, and it's all stuff from history and culture where you've got like pagans, you've got the Freemasons, you've got Aleister Crowley, you've got a whole collection of things there. A lot of it was all mock-ups, it was just copies, but a lot of it was original.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember Supernatural and the First Blade?
Yes. Yeah.
So they had that there, But
Oh
then they had
wow.
the African. So it's the first blade in supernatural.
Yeah.
In cultural ways, it was the ward off spirits and that in an African tribe. And there's an actual, it's a, is it a bison hip bone or something carved in, or a whale bone or
That's
something carved
it.
with teeth and that. And there's an actual tool, and it was part of this museum. So that was
Wow.
interesting. They had the dolls, haunted dolls there. So basically, anyone who's into supernatural, it's great to go and look at it. I've had like a mock-up of the Baphomet statue and the one about the Exorcist. What's its name? The demon, Babuzu, whatever his name was.
Oh yeah.
With that, but then they had the whole history behind the film The Exorcist. So they had like it was based on Exorcist, but it was like a
Wow.
cultural interesting reading what the film was based on and things like that. So
Oh
a lot of it was real. A lot of it was set up. They had like the Devil's Bible there. The like it's quite a big book, and it's
yeah.
originally the Devil's Bible. So sort of say like devil worshippers would look at
I
and
get
read it.
you.
Goes back to ancient times, back to when Christ sort of like the biblical text, but it was the Devil's Bible. So it's written out,
Okay.
but you can't read it. It's all old
Yeah.
writing, but it was there, and you could see it in person. But with the haunted dolls, they had a room as you come out of the museum. And it's just I walked into this room and there's this doll on the table. Apparently, it speaks to you, and there's people written stuff on the wall, and there's pens hanging from the wall, and it says if the doll
Really?
speaks to you, write it down so other people can see. And I've walked out, I didn't even take notice of it, but straight away, I was looking at this thing, my stomach started churning, and I didn't feel very well.
Hmm.
And when Amy walked in, she goes, "I don't like it in here. It feels a bit weird." And I was like, "Yeah, well, supposedly that's a cursed doll and it talks to you." But I really felt ill and like my knees sort of went like jelly.
Oh
But
wow.
as we walked out, we were walking around, right, as we exited the vaults, that feeling went.
Oh
But that's the only time
crikey.
I felt weird. I mean, we did have a few beers. Well, I had 2 beers before I went in because we've got a brewery on the side. I only had
Yeah.
two beers. And throughout the tour, I was feeling fine.
I
But it
remember
was,
seeing the pictures. They were a bit, them dolls were so creepy,
yeah.
weren't they?
But again, it a gimmick or something? I was chatting to Alan about it. Before I does research, he goes, "Do you think they're there as part of an experiment?" No, just to see if people go in there and go, "Oh, this thing said something to me," and wrote it down, and then
Hmm.
actually it's not actually cursed at all. It's just a doll. So did I go into that room and look into this thing? I mean, there's a backstory to this doll. It was found in Italy in a child's bedroom, and the whole
Okay.
history of this doll. And it said apparently it talks to you, and the house burnt down. The only thing that survived was this doll. But it's there. I mean, you can't touch it. It's behind like a robe, like a red line.
I
But it's
get
just
you.
there. It's not covered in a box or anything. It's just sat on the table.
Okay.
But I certainly felt not very nice when I looked at it. But then, was that me knowing I'm looking at something not very nice? I mean, the thing didn't look particularly nice, but was that just in the feeling of me going, "Oh, I don't like the look of that," making
Yeah.
myself feel like that? I don't know. But all I can say is that I didn't feel. I sort of felt a bit sick in there. I felt like I could throw up. Put it
It
that
could be
way.
like collection of energy as well, couldn't it? If a
It
load
could
of
be.
people are expecting it.
It could be, but I don't know if it's just something at the end where the people in this tour they just sort of just stuck it there just to have a laugh just to see who might squat down.
Yeah.
But I didn't want anything else. I just didn't feel very pleasant in there. But again, like I said, it could have been there's a dark room. It smelled a bit dingy in there, and it could have just been my own feelings overwhelming.
I get you. It'd be interesting 'cause if you went back again, then you probably wouldn't get them feelings because you'd be expecting it. So you'd probably, because you're a
Yeah,
bit more like, oh, well, it was probably just because of this and that. You probably wouldn't be susceptible to that side of things. So then if you felt ill again, then that might be something else then.
that's like you go to these places and you just feel like something bad happened there, like the ancient ramen or something like that, and you go there and you sort of you're on edge. So anything could happen,
Yeah.
and you'll be like paranormal all like that. So it's always good to go in there, not knowing the location, not knowing the history, and just
Yeah.
go there and experience whatever's going to happen. You know.
That's it's good to just walk in with a fresh head and not know anything. Then if you feel anything or see anything. Like if they didn't tell you about them dolls, you'd have probably have took more into how you felt, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so at that exhibition, everything was under, it's like under a glass dome or something like that. It's not like you're going to the Warrens place in Connecticut and everything's behind like a protective thing. So it's similar to that. They're basically artifacts throughout history which were used in supernatural rituals and stuff. I mean, I thought they would have had more on the Aleister Crowley, but they actually had from one of his temples, they actually had a brick with the symbols on, which is actually from a temple they knocked down. That was on
Oh
display.
wow.
They also had a walking stick he gifted to a groundskeeper, written letter saying this is a gift to so and so from Aleister Crowley,
Yeah.
and it's like a stat sort of thing. Um, but we've also been to the Witch Museum in North Devon. It's the
That
only
was that
one.
last year you went to that one. I think I remember the
Uh,
pictures.
25, I think it was, or 2023, I think it was. We went to
Okay.
North Devon and we went to Witch Museum, me and Amy, and that was quite interesting. They had a lot of dark magic stuff and a lot of the white magic stuff. So they had like the green witches and the dark witches. They had a bit of it dedicated to the witchcraft and the Satan worshipping. But then also had the good side to it all, which is like the good witches and stuff. That was interesting. Well, again, they had a lot of stuff, tools and that from these rituals, artifacts,
Yeah.
which are they had like the scrying mirrors and stuff, which are actually used in practices.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool to see it in person. And I think that's when my interest spiked in this whole supernatural stuff and watching the TV show. I was like, oh, let's look more into that. 'Cause there's obviously got to be something there because people used to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I found it all that interesting. And we also went to the pub in Dartmoor. What's it called? The Jamaica Inn. We went there for
Oh
so
yeah.
not far from there. We went something to eat there on the moors, so we went there for bites to eat afterwards. So that was pretty cool.
So now there's haunted as well, isn't it?
Yeah, apparently so. We didn't get any.
Yeah.
It's not a tourist hotspot now.
I think it's you have to keep going back to some places, I think, just to because a lot of places you don't always see anything the first time. Sometimes you can be lucky you can see everything the first time. It's hit and miss, isn't it?
But what's interesting about this whole thing is, we went to the Rich Museum. Now the guy's all dressed up like a hippie behind the counter. He's a really nice bloke. And we're chatting to him, and he's telling us that the museum point was relocated to Point North. So it's all to do with
Okay.
pointing north. So the museum, the energies and stuff inside is apparently it's got energy in there. Things happen in this museum,
Right.
but it moves to face northwards and had a running river next to it as well. So it got relocated for that reason. Um,
Okay.
Aleister Crowley's properties he had one in Cornwall. We had several properties over the UK. Had to point north. So
Wow.
it's something to do with the rich, the supernatural element of things pointing north, and to do with the whole ritual side of things. Off the cuff, I'm sort of doing this chat live. I can't think of anything in my head. Why?
No, yeah.
There's a whole reason for it to be pointing north. I've actually read up on it. It's energies and stuff. Um,
Okay. Is it to
but it's
like
also like,
a channel or something?
yeah, so it's like channeling north or ley lines, things like that. It's all interesting stuff. And it's like what's his name? Was it Robert Plant out the Led Zeppelin? He purchased one of Aleister Crowley's homes, and he said they
Wow.
sat around in it. And apparently, it's one of the homes where he opened the nine gates of hell, and he actually released a demon or something. Is it Jimmy Page? I think who bought a house. There's a whole thing about Jimmy Page and the Golden Dawn, but publicly he's turned out and said he was never part of it. He just found it all interesting. I think
Okay.
I think he did some of the practices when on LSD back in the day. But he
Robert
did say that,
Plant, Matt said if that's any help.
yeah, it's guitarist that Zeppelin, and they used to do the drugs and drink and stuff. They used to do silly things, and He probably thought off his head on drugs and I'm gonna buy Alistair Crowley's house, you know, and we're gonna do weird. But this place he bought apparently was one of the houses where Alistair Crowley had opened one of the gates and released the demon. So that's interesting. That sort of thing interests me now.
Yeah, look into everything. It's good. It's good to see all different sides of it because it all might be linked. You never know, do you?
No, this is it. So that sort of side of thing I'm interested in, like ley lines, things like that. But the other thing is, going back to the whole UFO aspect of it, I went up. They have Boomtown Festival down near the A272 near Chesterfield Head. A lot of weird things happened there. I think it was 2018 or something like that. And people
Okay.
came to see these figures appearing in the woods and stuff, and they're playing this music. Like it's all like rave music and that, and people on drugs then.
Yeah.
Not that I was saying it's a drug festival, but it's a festival where people are
Yeah.
doing certain things,
They're having
stuff,
a good time, sort
mainly
of
young
thing.
people.
Yeah.
And there's reports of these entities being seen. And there's actually on TikTok someone's filmed it of these dark figures in the field behind.
Oh,
When I looked
wow.
into it, that actually goes back to the 70s and 80s, where a group were at Chesterfield Head on the 272 doing research into UFO squat circles. A lot of stuff was
Okay.
seen, and beings were seen on the farm around that area as well from a farmhand who said he saw figures in the farm. When you
Wow.
look deeper, so I look into rabbit hole, do more research. There's a Project Caravan was brought into it. Project White Caravan. It was an investigation in the early 80s, late 70s of people going down there and doing the dive sim rods, and they were picking up anomalies on this old land, and they were picking up craft and that, and it's like similar to Skinwalker stuff, which was being seen. So
Yeah.
I put two and two together. You've got a big music festival with music, open different frequencies, things going on there, and people are seeing stuff in modern day. And it's
Yeah.
seeing stuff. Sarah, the witness, contacted me the other day. She saw lights over the 272, and she said, "We always see these lights flying around. We're not sure what they are,
Yeah.
but weird stuff happens over there. We just really look into it." And I had a really nice conversation with her about it. But then you look into it further, so you got that story there, and then you look into another story, a case in Winchester. One of the local MPs in Winchester swears down he saw an alien in Winchester High Street.
Really?
Other people saw it, and what it was a lady dressed like a ballerina, walking around like a ballerina, but she had like glasses on which didn't match anything anyone else wore. She's just
Okay.
walking around, and she didn't look like she's walking normally. He
Oh,
swears it was
right.
an alien. Now, as strange as that sounds, when I was saying you go from this case to that case, then you go to this case up here on the same
Yeah.
day and time. There's White Sands in America. A taxi driver was called to pick up four ladies, all looked the same as this lady who was in Winchester. Asked to go to location, he dropped them off. They walked off, and they got in the middle of the desert.
What?
Never seen again, and they thought they near an airbase. But he picked them up from Las Vegas and drove them to the desert, not far from this airbase, and they just disappeared into the desert. And that's the same era as this thing was seen in Winchester. So you've got to credit these cases all connect, connecting dots.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. Whether it's all made up, I don't know. But you got to think, there's always date and time. Always look at the time of month and stuff. Don't
Yeah.
It has to have happened along that date. When I was looking at those lights, different time frame, same month though. You got lights in Torquay scene. You got lights in Canby, Blackwater. Well, it's the same thing, but on different dates and times from when I saw them. But
Yeah.
very interesting. It's interesting footage what these people have shown. But January, you've got things seen, three lights seen down in Torquay in a straight line moving across the sky. And it's not Starlink,
Nah.
but it's always connecting location, time, and dates. And this happened there and happened there. And you've got
Wow.
cases thousands of miles away. Oh, similar things seen, but this time in Las Vegas.
That is really crazy.
I mean, I
It's got
can
to be
go on for it
linked,
for
hasn't
hours
it?
and I could probably beer up the whole of the research I've done on it. but we'd be here all night because I'll be showing you stuff which doesn't make sense. And to be untrained eye, people at home watching it would just be like, I was making all this bollocks up. I'm not. It's there. It's there on Google. I've
Yeah.
looked at it, dates, and you can read the actual guy's account. There's a statement online, and you can read it, and it's just so bizarre.
You're gonna have to when because I'm gonna save the live because I know it says it deletes after so long, doesn't it? So what I'm gonna do is I'll save it, put it onto YouTube, and you'll have to put your links on there and if
I
people
mean,
want to hear where the stories are.
send anyone links if they want to connect the dots and see what I've been looked into, but it's literally just the internet is so useful for information because you can put up old newspaper cuttings and archive stuff and type in a date on YouTube and what was spotted when, and you can go back and look into things. It's so interesting. I mean, you've got the things like AI now as well. You can ask AI,
Yeah.
is this page true? And it'll look it up and it'll do a deep. So you've got basic AI and you've got the deep research AI, which me and my friend Ricky use. The deep search
Okay.
AI is you pay a subscription, it's about £18 a month, but it does a deep dive into things. It'll come back it's almost like you're having an intelligent conversation with a physicist because this thing is just
Cool.
so advanced. I can see
Yeah.
why they don't want it out there because it is like not Skynet like everyone thinks. I mean, I first thought it'd be like Skynet once they release it, but it's a
Yeah.
treasure trove of information. You can just get anything out of it. So
Oh, that's
interesting.
brilliant, that. I never thought of like all that happening with the ballerina. I didn't hear that one. I missed that.
Well, if you look up, I can't remember the guy's name again because I've been on the spotlight here.
Yeah,
But if you type
sorry.
in on Google Winchester, I don't know, if you type in Winchester alien, it will probably
Hmm.
come up. And the guy's
I'll
done
have
a
to
drawing
do
of this
that.
thing. Yeah, it's a really skinny lady with these really weird glasses on, and she's just had a shopping bag and she's walking around very camp, but she didn't fit into the background of the normal shopping.
Yeah,
It was a Saturday afternoon, and plenty of people saw it. But what was weird is that this MP had no belief in this thing before he became an MP and saw whatever he saw.
yeah,
He's now recording the latest. If you go on YouTube, so obviously you see the guy's name. I've now started watching him to see what he's seen, and he's now
yeah,
pushing for disclosure. He's now not an MP anymore because this happened quite a few years ago. But what he saw
yeah,
was interesting. But now he's now sort of retired from being an MP, but he's looking for stuff, and he's filmed these things over 272. These weird lights. He's filmed them and he's put them on his little YouTube channel. So you can find his name on that report if you look up the Winchester alien.
that'd be
What
great.
he
Like
is
so,
watch his channel and you can see the weird lights he's caught from his garden and strange stuff going on there. And he's never a believer before he saw this weird thing in the street.
yeah. It's
But
almost like they're planted there. It's like they're trying to blend in, but they're so not getting it, sort of thing.
yeah, I mean, it's so weird. I mean, again, I can't tell you that's real. I mean, it could just be a lady, it just looked very odd, but I
Poor
can't
thing.
say for sure what it was. But the
Yeah,
picture was drawn and the thing he goes into, his statement, if you read into it, you easily find it on Google. Read his statement. It's just interesting because a lot of people are looking at this lady. She's just walking around very camp with a bag, almost like she's tripping up over her own shoes.
oh
You know,
wow.
it's
Yeah,
so interesting. But in that account, as I say, the Las Vegas account, similar description. A taxi driver just picks up four ladies, asks them where they're going. He felt it was a bit weird that he's dropping off in the middle of a desert and they sort of said, "Oh, we're okay from here," and walked off. But then the page it was written on, and the researcher looked into it, it's saying that they were tall whites. Apparently, I don't know.
wow. You'd have thought that I got called back out to pick them up, surely.
Yeah, but that was near an Air Force base. So what is it with Air Force bases? Were they just going back day trip out and heading back to the Air Force base? I don't know. It could all be rubbish,
Yeah.
but I find it interesting how you gone from Winchester to Las Vegas. But
Yeah.
that's the research. That's not the same page connected. That is just research of going, oh, that putting the description of that lady on Google, and then it pulls up with a list of other weird experiences people have had. And this taxi driver just happened to write an experience out, which is why I found it interesting. And when you read his report, and it's the same description as what you've just read in the Winchester one, so it's just doing that research, just looking into that.
Yeah. I'm
And it's
going to
going,
have to follow your new researches because that's really interesting. You wouldn't expect something to happen in one place and it happening all over. That's really interesting, that one is.
yeah, I think that's, yeah, it's just weird. I just find it interesting that you've got something happening there, similar account happening over there, and
Yeah,
it can't just be made up because how do these people get in contact? So I don't know, you make a story up here and I'll make another one up over here.
that's
Does
it.
the law of the universe does not make that happen. That's what's weird.
Especially in like different countries as well, because on the same day, it's so like hit and miss. You just couldn't time it usually.
No.
I mean, you know, it's like trying to get online with people over the seas as it is. It's quite tricky. So to come up with a whole big story like that, that's yeah, that's really, really interesting. That.
But then, yeah, I mean, I've become good friends with a lot of researchers in this country. I mean, Steve Mira, I've been in touch with, chatting to Steve Mira, great guy. And he's really interesting. And you've got John Hanson, the publisher of Haunted Skies. His research is interesting because he's actually got a dedicated UFO museum. You can go and visit, and you can buy his books online. You've got
Okay.
people like the Nightcrawler gang, who I've become really good friends with. John and Jerry Tedesco and Robin over in the States. And do you know what? They didn't want to follow this subject. Their actual research was in cancer clusters in the state of Long Island over in the USA. And
Right.
they're figuring out where like phone moths were causing cancer and stuff like that. So they bought equipment to find that. With that equipment they bought,
Yeah.
and with the publishment of the Tic Tac incident, they thought, well, maybe we could look at something else. And they were picking up anomalies. So they're
Mm.
actually, their research was to do with cancer clusters, but then they thought we'll also look into this as well whilst we're doing that research.
Yeah.
And then it falls in equipment that happens to be picking up anomalies on Long Island of orbs appearing, coming out of the sea, things going on they can't explain. And
Wow.
they've actually invested loads of money and time into that, bought an RV with all the equipment on.
Yeah.
And I think Coulthard did a thing on them. And quite recently, the UAP files and podcasts have done something on them. We actually caught something live on the live stream or something coming out of the sea, which was really interesting. But these guys, they spend a lot of their time doing that. I've become really good friends with them. I chat to Robin quite often. And they're catching on and on. You got people like Paul Sinclair over in North East Yorkshire, who's
Yeah.
dedicated a lot of time in looking into things. I've met him, been up on the cliffs. And that is another place which is really interesting. And when I was up there, I was stood up there, and him and his group of people observing things. I pulled up in the car park and I walked down onto the cliff from the viewing platform, spotted them, and said hello and that, and chatted to Paul for a bit. And then, well, I've read his books and the cases. I'm just looking out to sea on this platform, and there's a big flash of light which is shone up from the cliff top. And immediately I
Oh,
was just
wow.
somebody who's down there taking the photo. So it's like a double
Yeah.
flash. That's how bright it was. I walked down there and I looked over, and all you see is the crashing rays coming up. There's no boat down there. It's just water crashing up against the cliff top.
Oh,
And I was like,
wow.
and that's when they thought, so I said, well, don't go too far away, you'll fall over it because there's only wood and railing.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I sort of saw this weird flash. You know, it's flashing upwards. It wasn't on the cliff, it sort of went up. It's like a flash like that, really bright, an intense bright light.
Crikey.
Then I
Could,
thought one of them shone the torch around. I thought
mm.
it might be his torch,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a torch. It's from the bottom of it. It's like from the bottom, but it lit up the whole face.
It wouldn't get all the way up and blind you like it
No.
did.
But again, that was a traditional vision. I'm looking out to sea, and it's happened here. It's the corner of my eye, and it's just so bright. I
Crikey.
also made it down. Nothing, no, nothing's down there. It's
It'd be
so strange.
interesting to see like what they've come up with the orbs coming out this sea and some of those like you say with the torch, everything seems there's a lot around the sea, isn't there?
Yeah, so they spend a lot of time on them cliffs finding strange stuff going on up there. But also, you
Yeah.
also got the werewolf accounts going on up there, other
Wow.
strange things. The same with Long Island, you got strange things going on about. I actually asked Jerry and John if cryptids have been seen, and they sort of said they think a mermaid or something was on the beach. You see these footprints,
Really?
really weird. Spotted at the same time they saw these lights. So you've got these locations that are really weird, but I don't think it's just one location. I think it happens all around us. So I mean, it's just
Yeah.
like really a rate to see it, if that makes sense. Like those lights I saw, that was over Frimley, and it's quite a populated area. And in
Yeah.
my head, I know that doesn't make sense, but seeing them just has made me look even further into it. But
That's it. I'll be interested to hear more of that, especially the mermaid one. That's pretty cool, that.
yeah, I don't know if it is. It's just possibly because they
Yeah.
found footprints that are webbed on the beach at the same time they saw these lights. So they've
Well, it'd
got
be
going back
interesting.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what it is, because obviously something's left out, whether it's a mermaid or something else. There's something more up there, isn't there?
yeah.
But my phone has just flashed up with the battery warning, so I better try and charge it. But it's been absolutely lovely chatting to you. And you'll have to send over the links when we put this up, and I'll share you the link for it. You'll have to put your links on it, and if you want to put anything on for your page as well, so people can come over and join and everything, you'll have to put it on there.
Yeah, certainly. No worries.
All right. Well, you
Enjoy
take
the
it
rest of your
easy.
Sunday.
And
All right.
you.
All right.
Take it
Take
easy.
care.
See ya. Bye. Thanks for
Bye.
coming on anyway. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.